Funding for the art show was made possible by Montgomery County Arts and Cultural District, the Virginia W. Kettering Foundation, proud supporter of the arts in our community, and viewers like you. Thank you.
In this edition of the art show, local Lakota artist perfects the art of drumming.
Raymond is like a songbook. He knows the songs.
Opera endures in our Midwestern city.
To have been bringing this art form to our community for 50 years is a remarkable thing and something that we should be very proud of.
A painter captures his community.
Art to me is a language. It's a visual language, and it can be read. It's not localized to one specific place. It's for everyone.
Both children and adults get a chance to play dress up.
It is about creating space for people to feel comfortable to express themselves.
And it's all ahead on this edition of The Art Show. Hello, I'm Rodney Veal, and this is The Art Show, where each week we get unprecedented access to local, regional, and national artists and arts organizations. Raymond Roach grew up on the Cheyenne River Sioux Reservation in South Dakota, where he learned the traditional ways and ceremonies of the Lakota people. Now, he is a very respected Native American traditional artist living and performing all over Ohio.
Raymond is like a songbook. He knows the songs. He knows the appropriateness of those songs. And individuals like himself, are unique, and we're lucky here in the Dayton area to have an individual of this caliber.
Recognized by the Ohio Arts Council as a Native American traditional artist in singing and drumming, Raymond Roach would never say he's an artist.
I just call myself a practitioner of my traditions. Everything in this world is common, to our Creator, to our belief, our higher power. We are just common. Nobody is better, nobody is less.
But common men aren't typically charged with keeping tribal traditions alive.
Contemporary American Indian communities want to share their culture and history, and we've really kind of had a luxury of having a traditional specialist who's able to share his craft with us and with the public for many of the events that we do. There's over 500 federally recognized tribes throughout the United States. All of them have different traditions, different backgrounds, different histories.
Each year, Sunwatch Indian Village is the host site for the Miami Valley Council for Native Americans Keeping the Tradition Powwow. This partnership is something many people never saw coming.
Sunwatch has been open now for about 26 years. And during the early years, there was a lot of kind of contentious relationships with local Native population because of the archaeological excavation, the fact that human remains were being encountered. And a lot of Native folks were not happy with that, understandably so. And I don't know if the folks in the Native community, the folks here at Sunwatch and the archaeological community could have envisioned us ever kind of coming together to put this on here. But I think what really drew us together over time was the recognition that we are, in fact, really working towards the same goals. The powwow, it gives us a chance to highlight not just that Native people are still here, but that they have a lot of variation in their backgrounds and practices.
I've been asked to be the master of ceremonies, or the Iapaha.
Okay, please rise, remove your headgear. It's grand entry.
My job is to keep everybody in an upbeat with knowledge about what's going on, and so they have a clearer understanding of what they see. The powwows are mainly for social gathering. I get a lot of questions, well, can we come? Are we allowed to come? I said, it's like a festival, you know. Anybody's allowed at a festival. You can come and see and choose for yourself, you know, whether you like it or not.
I've heard a lot of Native people talk about the drum as representing the heartbeat of the earth. So to them, it's a very sacred instrument. It's the primary instrument in a lot of their songs, especially during the powwow and other activities. It's something that's not to be taken lightly because of the symbolism that it represents for the Native people.
The drum would be made out of buffalo hide. First they dig the hole out and make this big mound of dirt, and then they stretch that hide over it and let it dry like that. And then after that dried, then they would take it over to the hole they dug out, place it over that. And they made their sticks out of branches, so everything was taken from the earth. We refer to that sound as the heartbeat of grandmother, or Uchimaka. Without that heartbeat, things wouldn't survive on this earth. So we acknowledge grandmother through our songs and that drum.
Everything in creation comes in fours, so there's 4 circles at these gatherings. And the first circle is the drum, and that in itself that's the heart. It's the heart of the people. It's the heart of the gathering. It's the heart of of humanity. The second circle is the men. It's the men who give life. Men are the producers of life, so they're the ones who bring life to that drum. The third circle are the women who stand behind the men and encourage the men. And the fourth circle are the people. It's about community. This right here is a gathering to celebrate the community that's here in the Miami Valley area.
Raymond, also known by his Indian names Standing Shiny and Good Voice Eagle, is dedicated to preserving and fostering Native communities here in Ohio by passing down his ancestors' songs and stories. This oral tradition is vital to keeping the Indian ways in a Native community that is separated by geography and modernization.
The best part, enjoying what I do, is to sing from the heart. When you sing from the heart, the other dancers sense that. That's why we have groups of maybe up to 10 people at the drum. So when the voices are added together, you get strength there. It just gives you a good feeling about what's happening right then and there at that time during that song.
Plan a day at Sunwatch, the original site of an 800-year-old Indian village, and explore the art, music, and life of traditional peoples.
Are you an artist or know an artist with an interesting story? Pitch it to us. Send an email to theartshow@thinktv.org. Include contact information and links to performances or art samples online.
Ranging from musical performance to visual art, Dayton has always had an eclectic art scene, which includes the Dayton Opera. After 50 years, the opera is just as happy to call Dayton home as we are to host them.
The history of Dayton Opera is a rich one. We've been in this community for all of those years, bringing this great art form to the Miami Valley, and we are part of the tapestry of the rich arts that our community has, and we're very proud of that 50-year history. There aren't too many opera companies in the United States that can claim that. It's only a group of about 30 or so companies that have actually reached that landmark. So we're proud of that and proud of what we bring to Dayton and to the Miami Valley. It shows that our community values the art form that we bring to them, It means that our public is invested in this great art form that is the amalgamation of all of the arts. It's great singing, it's great orchestral music, it's great drama, it's great dance. It is the greatest art form, and people recognize that and have shown that they want to support it, and to have supported for all the years, the 50 years that we've been here. In producing opera, we put every element of the productions that you see on the stage of the Schuster Center. From building the cast, our orchestra is our wonderful Dayton Philharmonic, our chorus are members of our community of Dayton, and then with my casting that I do of the principal roles through auditions that I do in New York City every year, we bring in the principal artists, and this all comes together in a unique sort of way that creates a product that is uniquely something for our Dayton audience, and it's a production that you will not see in the same way in any other city or manifestation of it. How do you sum up Dayton Opera? We're the greatest art form, the most impactful art form, that it's the most inclusive art form, and is the most enriching art form. And for our company to have been bringing this art form to our community for 50 years is a remarkable thing, and something that we should be very proud of. Is a fantastic experience that just sort of washes over you in a unique way, bringing all the arts together in one powerful package.
Don't hesitate to check out the latest production being performed by our hometown opera. To learn more about current performances, showtimes, and tickets, visit DaytonPerformingArts.org. Moving on to visual arts, Las Vegas painter Joseph Watson spends his time observing the world around him and translating his observations into paint and paper. Up next, learn about Watson's process and his dedication to his community that goes beyond the canvas.
Art to me is a language. It's a visual language. And it can be read. It's not localized to one specific place. It's for everyone. That's what art is to me. We're in the Arts District, specifically the Arts Factory. Downstairs in the Joseph Watson collection, otherwise known as my gallery, my studio space, where I make the magic happen with painting. Originally, I grew up in Gardena, California, and it's like south of Los Angeles. I first knew I was going to be an artist when I didn't get picked for the basketball team, football team, baseball team, and I sat on the bench about 20 times, and I just started sketching. So I had a pretty early start in art and expressing myself. So after I graduated from college, I got into the video game industry. After a while, I was like, you know what? I need to see what else is out there. So, came out to Vegas, and it was just what I needed. I saw Vegas as one big blank canvas, and I was ready to paint. The working title of this piece is The River of Rhythms. These various musicians from all walks of life are in one vessel, this boat, right? And the whole concept behind the piece is kind of like a metaphor for going through certain challenges in life. It may be an uphill battle, but hey, have fun with the situation, stay close to your friends, and achieve. I would characterize my art as whimsical, vintage, thought-provoking elements of really cool storytelling, something that entertains at the same time decorates to a high standard. This is something that I've been working on. It's a coffee table book for people who like my art. This is one of my more recognizable pieces titled Morning Rush, and believe it or not, all of these people existed in a real coffee shop. What I did was I sketched each one of the people down. I went home and I drew them into this piece. So after about a month, I have about like 60 characters or so in this piece. My ideas A lot of times they fall out of the sky. I guess in the back of my head, I kind of formulate a particular theme that best fits a particular situation. I did this one piece, for example, titled Connect, and it's basically a time span piece of before and after. I really wanted to capture that experience of change, so I created this bridge. Everybody going from the left side of the bridge to the right is themselves 10 years ago, and everybody going from the right to the left is how they are now. This piece was inspired by my 10-year high school reunion. The strongest subject matter is one that's near and dear to your heart and something that's in your life every day. This particular piece here is titled Blue Afternoon. So I was like, what am I gonna do? And I looked around and my eyes gazed on this bouquet. And I'm like, that's it, urban still life. This is titled Through Disaster, and there's like an oil slick, and this flower is sprouting from it, and it's like untouched. What I like to do with my art in the gallery is attempt to have accolades from the seasoned collectors, but what about all the other people? What about the people who can't afford a high-end original? I like to provide them with something that looks high-end for an attainable price. So that's when these came about. It's just my responsibility as an artist to make myself available for all. There's a very well-known piece that I created called Sunday at the Swap Meet, and that depicts Sunday lifestyle at an open-air flea market. This is where I actually launched my art career back in 1989, 1990 in Gardena, California. Set up a booth, airbrush t-shirts, thousands and thousands of them, and Sundays were really slow. So what I wanted to do was create a piece that captured that whole experience as an art vendor, an artist. You'll see all sorts of neat hidden things in this piece. The community that I actually grew up in, it had a mix of African Americans and Hispanic in the same neighborhood. So I really like to capture that special experience and portray it in my art. I've been fortunate enough to be part of a public art project in the historic West Las Vegas neighborhood. I was recognized, as an African American artist to contribute to the community, and it was an honor. I painted electrical utility boxes, and what I did was I took a theme of inspiring people. I took an image that I created of one girl, and I portrayed her traveling around the box, and basically she's like 20 different occupations, all very positive. What I wanted to achieve with that particular box was you could be anything if you put your mind to it. I take pride in being an African American artist in Las Vegas, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm the everybody kind of artist. I firmly believe that it's not just a pretty picture that you're responsible for creating, it's a beautiful idea as well. And when you merge the two, you could see the viewers' faces light up and a huge grin when they see it, like, wow, just something goes off in their head. And I believe that sort of connection is necessary with art. I'm not a very outspoken person, pretty quiet, but I speak through my art, so it gives me a voice that's universal, that everybody can appreciate. So painting allows me to speak to everybody. That's why I find it so magical. My goal is for people to enjoy what I create, to create something and impact the world in a positive way.
To learn more, visit josephwatsoncollection.com. Finally, tonight, designer Heidi Cambish collaborates with the Columbus Museum of Art to create a whimsical space in which both children and adults are invited to play dress-up. Her so-called body puppets are intended to inspire and to liberate the minds of all children, both young and old.
The Wonder Room is a really unique space at the Columbus Museum of Art. It is a gallery. We have more than 20 works of art from our permanent collection in this installation of the Wonder Room, but it's different than any other gallery you'll find here. And that is because we've designed it to be a different kind of environment. This time it's a forest, a woodland environment, and the works of art are embedded in this forest along with some structures like a tree house and a kind of falling down old house, and a lot of hands-on activities that you wouldn't normally find in an art museum gallery. We believe that creativity is for everyone. We want our visitors to have a chance to demonstrate creativity in the space, but we also want to model creativity using local artists. People often ask us, well, there are a lot of local artists. How did you choose? How did you select these 8 local artists? And there's not just one answer to that. I think we came about these 8 artists in many different ways. Some of them I've worked with before, or I know who they were. And someone like Heidi Cambich, we found Heidi Cambich because some of my colleagues had worked with Heidi for our CCS Day for Families, a special event we have here in May, where we invite all the 5th grade families at Columbus City Schools. What I like about Heidi's work and why we asked Heidi to work with us is because Heidi creates these body puppets, she calls them, and they're really unusual.
Open Heart Creatures evolved out of me working at the health department as a counselor with children, at-risk children, and a lot of what we were talking about has to do with uncomfortable feelings and how to cope with different things that are going on in their lives. And so I started making these puppets that were more expressive that we can use as tools. And the puppets then evolved to these giant head body puppets. So I'll get the design going, I'll pick all the fabrics and furs, and Jordana takes over and kind of does a lot of the hand sewing, different pieces together, and then Laurel is also helping sew on the tags, and so we sort of have a little system going. Trying the pieces on throughout the different stages really helps the process, because then it helps us figure out, and we try it on half complete on each other to figure out if it's going to fit, how it's going to lay, not just on a mannequin but on each other. And that's the other piece that's very tricky about this, is I'm wanting to make pieces that are a universal fit for children and adults to try on. It is about creating space for people to feel comfortable to express themselves. And whether they're putting a puppet on or whether they're not, we're providing tools for people to be creative and people to ask questions and talk to each other in a different way and put their phones down and play.
To learn more about Cambish's installation, visit columbusmuseum.org.
To view any of tonight's stories again or watch an episode in its entirety, watch The Art Show on demand at thinktv.org/theartshow. You'll also find bonus features and extended interviews on select artists.
And that wraps it up for this edition of The Art Show. There's still plenty to see and do in the community, so check it all out. Until next time, I'm Rodney Veal, and thanks for watching.
Funding for the Art Show was made possible by Montgomery County Arts and Cultural District, the Virginia W. Kettering Foundation, proud supporter of the arts in our community, Ohio Arts Council, Ohio Humanities Council, and viewers like you. Thank you.